Hello, everyone. I never know what to say if it's good morning, good afternoon, because you watch it at different times. But I can tell you that it's been a full day for me already. Woke up at 3 o'clock this morning and never was able to go back to sleep. So I do what I usually do when I wake up during the night. I'll just go turn on the news and see what happened overnight. And there again, we've got more shocking news again today, and I think by now you all know what happened. But I just said to myself, I can't watch the news from 3 o'clock on. I said I just got to do something different. So I just popped over to the country music channel and just had the country videos playing. And lo and behold, the first song that came on was one that I hadn't heard yet, called 2020. How appropriate. And it was kind of a dark song, and I said, well, this is not going to help my mood any. But I listened to it, and there was one phrase, and no, I'm not going to sing for you this morning, where it said, I'm a bird in a cage forbidden to fly. I'm in a world changed overnight into a place that I don't recognize. Another storm that we all got to weather. And I say, wow, that's really what this artist was trying to capture and called the song 2020, because, once again, we are going through changes, and things seem to get better one day and not get better the next. And I'm sure by now you're trying to figure out, okay, where is he going with this? Trust me, I'm a professional. I will tie this all up sooner than later. And obviously I'm back into the main office. I hope you enjoyed my broadcast from headquarters over the past 2 Fridays. I'll be going back out there in a few weeks. But let's get back to the story. This country artist sang this song where it says it's another storm that we all got to weather. And I was just thinking, boy, wow. And that's what we've been doing. We've been weathering a storm. And I'm saying, well, that's kind of what's been happening, but how can I turn this into a positive? We just don't want to keep on dwelling on the negative. And lo and behold, another video came on right after, and this one was by Bon Jovi and Jennifer Nettles, Do What You Can. And the whole song painted what has happened to our country since the beginning of March. And I go, and it was kind of an upbeat tune. I mean, yes, it talked about the bad things that happened, but I'm saying, well, here, this is good. And a phrase caught me, and this is where I want to kind of turn this into my Friday morning tops message. The line goes, and again, not singing, the line goes, when you can't do what you do what you can. Think about this. When you can't do what you do what you can. And folks, to me, that summed up what has been going on since March. We have all done what we can, and it's working. We had our first official chapter meeting last night since March. Everybody was excited to see each other. Yes, we socially distanced, and we did recognize each other despite the fact that we had our masks on. And we all weighed in, and we knew we had folks that were gained, we had folks who lost, and we had folks who stayed the same. And it was a little ironic where we cheered the people with the loss, we cheered the people who stayed the same, and we cheered the people who had some gains only because they admitted it could have been worse. Now, I know that kind of goes against the whole thought process, but they did what they could. to stem the tide in this storm that we all got to weather. And that's where everything just like, wow, it just came to light. I just stopped watching the news. I just listened to music, and I was thinking, this is what I have to focus on. Yeah, we're in a storm. Tops is in a storm. We all got to weather it together. But when we can't do what you do what you can. And I thought that's just a powerful message that we all can focus on. So when we get into these situations, we try to divert our attention. Last week, somebody had asked about how can we, if you're binge eating, what can you do to break that cycle? And I wish I thought of then, put on some upbeat music to maybe change your mood, or read some poetry. I've been reading a lot of Mark Twain lately, just so I can probably get a little bit better and answering some of the negativity that I've seen on Facebook. Mark Twain had a wonderful way of putting things in perspective, letting people know how he really felt, and tried to get them to see things in a different light. And again, that's what we've been doing since March. We've been looking at things in a different light. So I just thought it was appropriate to come to one of my favorite rooms in the house, is what Ann put together is our Nashville room, because we love going to Nashville so much, and if you haven't figured it out, we love country music. And maybe someday we'll write a country music song on how we dealt with Tops. But I just wanted to share that moment with you that I had at 3 o'clock this morning, and I knew it probably wasn't a good idea to jump on Facebook at that time and do this. So I just want you folks to just think about this today, that we are in a storm that we all got to weather, but when you can't do what you do what you can. And on that note, as I close out this Friday morning's chat, I want some of you who can to try something for me. This is an experiment. Yeah, I know I don't have my lab coat on today, but let's do an experiment. Today or over the weekend, when the moment strikes you, if you've Zoomed, open up your Zoom. You may or may not know that if you can just start a meeting with just you, that's how I've done some of the recordings when I've had issues with Facebook and some of the things I've put together for you folks to view. Just open up a meeting, start a meeting, and for no more than a minute, 30 seconds to a minute or so on average, just share what you're feeling at the moment, or any words of inspiration or hope, or something that struck you that was different since March, or something that you just want to share. When you shut the meeting down, you may notice that it's going to, let me back up. 1, 2, 3. When you start your meeting, there's a record button on the bottom. Record what you're saying. Very important, otherwise this whole experiment just failed. Okay, open up the meeting. When you know what you want to say or share, hit the record button. Say what you're going to say, again, 30 seconds to a minute, and then stop your recording and then end your meeting. It will save what you just said in an MP4 file. It'll be a small file, and you'll be able to email it. Email me that file. rdanforth@tops.org. Okay? So all you got to do is open up a meeting, just you in the room, record, say what you want to share, stop your recording, it will process it, it will save it in a file, send me the MP4 file to rdanforth@tops.org. You say, well, what are you going to do with those? Trust me, I've been experimenting with different ways and how we can reach our TOPS members. You notice, excuse me, last week or 2 weeks ago when I did the broadcast from headquarters, I was in the garden, then I was in the office, then I did different things. I would like to just put a few together, or depending how long it is, of your comments that I can share with the members. So remember, if you're sending me something, that means I've got permission to share it, and I won't embarrass anybody or stuff like that. This idea is way out of the box, and it only happened because I've been up since 3, and that line from that Bon Jovi Jennifer Nettles song saying, when you can't do what you do what you can. So please, think about those thoughts, try that little experiment, and that's how you're going to get better working with the Zoom tool. Try this little experiment, and we'll see what happens between now and next Friday. So I hope you all have a good day. It's time to sign out.